The stops today as they are wearing their brown jerseys for the first time at home since 1983. So maybe that's the good luck charm, Paul, they need.
I think you're doing it for Jimmy Brown.
Treadwell gets into it. It'll be Metcalf from the 6, and we're underway from Cleveland. There goes Metcalf. He's out past the 40-yard line to the 41. A great start for Cleveland. And he was brought down by the place kicker, David Treadwell. Let's look at the offensive unit for the Cleveland Browns. That makeshift offensive line. Farron, Banker, Riccozzi, Fike, and Rison up front. And in the backfield, along with Bernie Kosar, Tim Manoa is the fullback, Metcalf the tailback, and the gifted wide receivers, Slepster, Slaughter, Reggie Langhorne, and the tight end, Ozzie Newsome. 1st and 10 at the 41. The dump off to Metcalf. They set up the screen. He's out to the 50-yard line for a gain of 9. Rick Dennison dumping down Eric Metcalf. They just want to get into his hands as often as possible. Now, when they go to the shotgun formation, the Cleveland Browns with the 4 wide receivers, Metcalf will leave. Actually, he'll go to a slot position. He'll stay in there, and he'll be joined by Gerald McNeil. And Manoa will be the only running back with Bernie Kosar.
You got to love what they've done with Metcalf right off the bat. They let him return the kickoff, and then they get him the ball right away.
He's got it again, and he's got a first down with flags down to the play. Into the secondary he goes for a first down. Wyman Henderson bringing down Metcalf, but there is a flag down on the play, a hold against Cleveland.
Joel, what's happening is that Metcalf
now brings up a 2nd down and 12 with the ball just outside of the 39-yard line, close to the 40, and Manoa goes in motion. The give to Keith Jones out of Nebraska. Another flag down on the play. So is Jones. He's down across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Cragen and Townsend, the defensive front 3. The linebackers, Brooks, Dennison, Mecklenburg, and Fletcher.
42 offense, 2nd down.
Braxton, Henderson, Smith, and Atwater in the secondary, and 3 of those 4 newcomers. It's now 2nd and long, 2nd and 17 for Kosar and the Broncos. Back at their own 35. They give to Metcalf. Can't spin out of the tackle of Dennis Smith, the strong safety, as well as Michael Brooks, the outside linebacker. In the atmosphere and the conditions here in Cleveland,
he will play all day.
3rd and 15 as Metcalf goes in motion. Kosar to Metcalf again. He can't beat the double team on the outside. He's short of the first down by about 9 yards. He's brought down by Tyrone Braxton. We talked to Eric Metcalf's father earlier this morning, Terry Metcalf, and asked him, is his son just like the father?
Yes, yeah, he's very much like me. He wants not only to please himself, but he wants to please others. And sometimes that can put a little more pressure on the individual than necessary. So main thing is just take it one play at a time and don't look back on the past and just play the play at hand.
Terry Metcalf's for many years a great running back with the St. Louis Cardinals. Brian Wagner in to punt it away to Ken Bell, and it's off the side of his foot. So a break for the Broncos very early, and an injured Bronco down on the field as well. They spot the ball out of bounds at the 41-yard line. So when we come back, the Broncos will have it 1st and 10 outside of their own 40. Now they start Steve Sewell in the backfield along with Jeff Alexander. They're in the eye. Jackson and Johnson, the 2 wide receivers. And Elway on the very first play already audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. It's to Alexander, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for a couple of yards. Mike Johnson, the middle linebacker, making the play for this #1 defense against the run in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns have allowed the opposition only 73 yards a game. Rushing the ball.
Hurry up offense.
They're going with no huddle. So we look at the offensive line for the Denver Broncos. Perry, Bishop, Karts, Juriga, and Lanier. Elway on 2nd and 8. Going up top for Johnson. It's complete inside the 35 for a first down to the Cleveland 34-yard line. Hanford Dixon and Thane Gash providing the coverage on the play. Tough to keep up with Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson in the secondary.
Well, it is tough. Now, I don't know if Hanford Dixon, he's talking to Gash saying, wait a minute. Here, I got him short, and Gash, you've got to get him deep. 30 is Gash. Now, you see Hanford-Dixon pulls off there of Johnson. Gash never gets over. If the ball is on target, it's a touchdown.
Sewell is going to go into a wing position. The lone setback is Jeff Alexander with Sewell in motion on 1st and 10 from the 34. It's Alexander. Breaks the first tackle, takes it down to the 30 for a gain of 4. In the offensive backfield with John Elway, Sewell and Alexander. The wide receivers, Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson. And the tight end, one of the best in the AFC, Clarence Kay. When they go to 4 wide receivers, though, Michael Young will come in. And Steve Sewell will be one of the slot men as well. Second and 6, the ball at the 30-yard line. And Elway falls down. He wasn't touched, though. Gets it over the middle and almost has it intercepted. Felix Wright had it just go off his fingertips.
It just looks like Elway gets stepped on as he comes out of the box. Now, here's Elway right here. And take a look at the center sitting right here. Now, that's Carson, and it looks like Elway just steps on him when he comes out. The center just steps right back on his foot. Actually, it was the right guard that got him, Juriga. Here comes Elway. Juriga's foot just catches Elway. He goes down, but yet Cleveland can't get to him.
First third down of the day. Vance Johnson in motion. 3rd and 6 from the 30, and Elway goes out of the shotgun. Pressure comes. He's hit. He's on his way down. The dog pound in Cleveland loves it. Carl Hairston and Al Baker combining for the sack. And that takes him out of field goal position as well.
Joe, but the thing that the Cleveland Browns did is to keep him in the pocket. If they can keep him from running. Now, I'm going to make a circle out here. But this is where the defensive rush comes from, away from the outside. It'll come from right in here and outside. And watch what happens to Elway. He's got to move back inside.
Gerald McNeil back deep, waiting for the punt. It hit. It's down by Ken Bell. Did it go into the end zone? Yes. They say it was on the goal line. What a break for Cleveland. Mike Horan, one of the best punters at getting the ball out of bounds inside the 20. Didn't get a break there. When we come back, the Browns will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. Scoreless in Cleveland. 1st and 10 for Kozar and the Browns at their own 20, and it's complete to Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome put down at the 29-yard line, they say. He's short of the first down by only 1 yard. That keeps that long streak going for Ozzie Newsome. He's caught a pass now in 149 straight. Now, just before we broke away, Paul, Horan almost had it down inside the 5, inside the 1 yard line. Ken Bell tried to put it down there.
Yeah, but you see how Bell is on the end line. When Bell is on the end line, that means that the ball is in the end zone.
2nd and a yard now for the Browns at their own 29-yard line. Manoa in the eye in front of Keith Jones. 9-man defensive front, and Kozar looking to throw. He'll run for the first down. He's got it to the 34-yard line. Brought down by the nose tackle, it's Greg Cragen. Let's look at some of the other scores in the early games from this week number 4 of the NFL season. Cincinnati and Kansas City, Miami and Houston not on the board yet, but New Orleans with a touchdown and a 4-point lead already over Washington. And 3 other games just underway in Detroit, New York, and Minnesota. Browns have it now, 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Metcalf back in there. Split behind Kozar with Tim Manoa, who goes in motion. The counter to Metcalf. Squirts through to the 40-yard line. He's got about 6 on the carry.
Joe, these are only 5-yard or 6-yard runs. But the Cleveland Browns so far this year, they have not been able to run the ball going against one of the best running defenses in football, Denver. The Denver Broncos have not been able to throw the ball, and they're going against one of the best pass defenses. Now here comes, you're going to see Metcalf. Manoa goes the other way. The guards come out to the outside. That's Banker. Fight come out. And you're seeing Metcalf now. He picks up 6 yards or 7 yards. But that's what the Browns have to do. Now they put him in a good passing situation.
2nd and 3 for the Browns, their own 41. It's Keith Jones. Nothing doing up the middle. Takes it to the 43, and they put him down near the 44, close to the first down marker. coming into the game, some of the keys for these two teams. John Elway has never lost a game to the Cleveland Browns, while Bernie Kosar, he hasn't been intercepted in his last 150 attempts. The defensive line for the Broncos, one of the very best in the NFL, while the offensive line for the Cleveland Browns, well, they had to put Paul Farron over to the left tackle position to help things out because of the injuries. So they go to the measurement, and he's just short of the first down. Other things to look for today. Some of the critical elements of this contest. The Broncos, their pass defense, number 2 in the NFL, allowing only 149 yards per game over the first 3. And we just talked about that great run defense of the Cleveland Browns. So just like you said, the Broncos have to be able to run the ball. And the Browns, they've got to pick it up in the passing attack and run the ball as well. Kosar over the top for the first down. On 3rd and inches, Bernie Kosar stretches out that 6'5" frame.
And, you know, we talked in the first game of the year, we talked to Randall Cunningham about that particular play. Randall Cunningham said, that's one of the plays I hate to run. Down by the goal line, I don't mind because I get 6 points. Bernie Kosar feels the same way. This is a time when they know he's going to carry the ball, and everybody wants to take a shot at you.
Players to look for today. The 2 rookie running backs, Bobby Humphrey for the Broncos, Eric Metcalf for the Browns. Metcalf has it on 1st and 10. Look at the move he makes. Metcalf going across the midfield stripe down to the 48 of Denver. Gets 7 yards on the reception.
Now, wait a minute. Didn't the Denver Broncos say they didn't think he could make the cuts he made on Monday night on grass? Watch this. Carl Mecklenburg is the guy that's going to get faked out. The little dip outside, back to the inside. There goes Mecklenburg, and there goes Metcalf, and he picks up 7 more yards.
Good block thrown out in front by the center, Greg Riccozzi, and he was the center of controversy last year as we look at the first-year head coach for the Cleveland Browns. Bud Carson was a little upset with his offensive unit last week and said that maybe I've spent too much time on the defensive side this year. 2nd and 3 at the 48. Manoa in motion. It goes to Keith Jones. Breaks the first tackle. Goes for a couple. He'll still be short of the first down as he's dropped down by Alfonso Carricker. Well, Eric Metcalf looks so similar to his father in his running style. And Terry Metcalf, it's the way he looked when he was a rookie with the St. Louis Cardinals.
How about this run here? This is what Eric would like to do today. Watch this. Only one man actually put a hand on him. Not too shabby, huh?
And he did it so often. Eric Metcalf in the backfield once again as Manoa goes to the wing on 3rd and 1 from the 41-yard line of 46-yard line of Denver. Metcalf over to the left side for the first down, spinning free to the 40. He's got all the moves. Eric Metcalf looked like he was going to be dropped at the original line of scrimmage and then does that little 360.
Joe, look at over here. They're going to Farron and Banker on this side. Riccozzi is the center. But watch Metcalf. The moves that he makes basically on his own. Watch here. There's Banker kicking out. Farron's there. They're blocking. And here comes Metcalf. He'll make a move right back to the inside. That was Wyman Henderson that missed him.
1st and 10 from the 40. Who else gets it but Eric Metcalf? Won't be able to turn the corner. And he's down to the original line of scrimmage.
It was interesting, though, talking to the Denver Bronco defense yesterday, and Mecklenburg said it. We will be aware of where Eric Metcalf is on the field. As soon as he comes out of the huddle, he's leaving the field now on this play, but as soon as he comes out of the huddle, everybody will point to Eric Metcalf, so we'll know where he is.
The Browns already have more yards on the ground than they did in the first 3 quarters of their game against the Bengals on Monday night. There's the defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips, in his first year with the Denver Broncos. 2nd and 10 now. Kosar and the Browns at the Denver 40. They double up on the short side of the field. Langhorne and Slaughter. It goes to Keith Jones. Lost his footing. And he gets about 2.5 yards on the carry. He's dumped by the free safety, Steve Atwater. Atwater, one of the big reasons the Denver secondary is doing so well in the early going this year.
Is he something big enough? That man is 6'3", weighs 217 pounds, and they said he just loves to hit people.
Wade Phillips told us yesterday the lower half of his body really reminds him of the lower half of Earl Campbell's body. He's thick, to say the least. Their first-round draft choice out of Arkansas. Big third down for the Browns. They're at the 38-yard line. It's 3rd and 8. Lawyer Tillman goes in motion. And it's batted away from Slaughter over the middle. Dennis Smith, the safety. In his 9th year out of USC, timing it perfectly.
Webster Slaughter is looking for pass interference, but I'm going to tell you something. It isn't pass interference. Dennis Smith is there just as the ball gets there. And just remember one thing. When you take a look at this, you're going to see Smith come in. Smith has as much right to that ball as Slaughter has.
So the drive stalls inside the 40 after the Browns started with it at their own 20-yard line. Ken Bell waits for the punt from Brian Wagner. His first effort was off the side of his foot, and it only went 15 yards. He'll try to get into the corner. Once again, it's off the side of his foot. Another wobbler.
This went 10.
Maybe. Tough start this afternoon for Brian Wagner. We'll be right back to Cleveland with 2.5 minutes left in the first. Jam-packed Cleveland Stadium. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Broncos haven't had it too long, but it's still scoreless. As there's 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Paul, you were wrong. It was not a 10-yard punt by Wagner. It was 11 yards.
The thing that Wagner does is it's just like hitting a golf ball. You've got to keep your eye on the ball. He's taken his eye off the ball, and twice he shanked it.
An 11-yard punt following a 15-yard punt. Pratt goes to a wide receiver position. Alexander, the only one in the backfield on 1st and 10 from the 27. Pressure on Elway. It's batted away by Michael Dean Perry. Do the Browns have it? Yes, they do.
Joe, Michael Dean Perry is such a special athlete. He is so strong from the waist down and so quick. He has to beat Keith Bishop. Now here is Perry right here. He's just going to run right around Bishop and then end up knocking the ball out of Elway's hand, and he almost gets it. Here he comes. Bishop is moving out to pull out. Here comes Perry. There's the hand on Elway, and look at him. He goes back at the ball. He's rolling for it, kicks it away from Elway. Look at this guy. You talk about hustle. He just runs right by Bishop, but I think Bishop was going to pull out and was supposed to have help on that side by Gerald Perry, number 60.
Robert Banks made the fumble recovery, but Michael Dean Perry made the big play. He is so quick out of the blocks. John Elway was telling us yesterday, just wished the game was in Denver because he felt like he could get Michael Dean Perry offsides about 5 different times, but he couldn't hear because of the crowd noise.
Well, the only problem here is that his offensive lineman can't hear. Here's Michael Dean Perry again. Now what? See, Bishop looks like he's pulling out. And then at that point in time, is the center was supposed to come down on him, and he didn't pick him up. And when that happens, that's a sack. You've got to give a sack also, besides the fumble.
They come out in the eye. Metcalf and Manoah on 1st and 10 from the Denver 15. The swing to Metcalf. He's all alone to the 10-yard line, just inside the 10 for a gain of a little bit better than 5. Metcalf with 78 yards of total offense already. Denver with only 13.
Did you just, I mean, there's a little holding in the line because you got some guys hurt, but watch what Michael Brooks does, number 56. I told you they want to keep Eric Metcalf to the inside. Now, Brooks forces him to go inside and not allow him to go outside because they want to take a shot at him. They want to try to wear him down.
2nd and 4, just inside the 10-yard line. Metcalf and Manoah stay in the backfield. And Kozar changing the play at the line of scrimmage. It's scoreless with 1:35 left in the first. Timing pattern. Slaughter's there. Touchdown, Cleveland! Wyman Henderson not a factor as he tried to provide the coverage.
Well, Wyman Henderson was not a factor. 2 things happened. First of all, Bernie Kosar saw Slaughter out there on Henderson one-on-one. But what happened was the move that Slaughter makes to the inside, Wyman Henderson almost falls down. And when that happens, Kozar is right there with the ball. Perfect pattern. He sees right now he doesn't have to really lay it out that far, but you didn't see Wyman Henderson in the picture because he almost fell down.
Matt Barr in for the point after try. It's perfect, and the Browns get on the board first. The Cleveland Browns before a sellout crowd at the 37-yard line. More scores from around the NFL. There's Mark Harper, the reserve defensive back, made the play on the special teams. The Chiefs getting on the board, and remember the Bengals playing without Boomer Esiason today as Turk Schoner gets the start. A safety for the Oilers. They get the early lead on the Dolphins. Detroit with a field goal from Eddie Murray has the lead, and the Jets on top of Indianapolis. That was a 33-yard return for Ken Bell. And New England on the road with an early lead on Buffalo. The delay to Bobby Humphries, his first carry of the day. The rookie from Alabama spins across the 40 to the 42-yard line for a gain of 5. And Paul, he lends to the Denver offense the same type of excitement Metcalf brings to the Cleveland offense.
But I like what Dan Reeves said about this young man, Bobby Humphries. He said he sees more of the field than any other back he's ever coached. When he goes to a hole, like a lot of people will run up into a hole if there's a fullback in front of him, he'll bump into the fullback. This guy avoids people and finds the hole.
Those 7 points the Browns just put on the board, the first points against the Denver defense in the first quarter this year. Alexander and Humphrey in the eye on 2nd and 5. It's Alexander, and the big fullback goes absolutely nowhere. Carl Harrison and Clay Matthews making the stop.
After that long pass in the first series of downs for Denver, Hanford Dixon is not in the game at this point. Mark Harper, number 23, is playing that corner. Now, Hanford Dixon is coming in as a nickel man, but Harper will be playing the right corner.
We'll see if John Elway tries to exploit Mark Harper in the secondary, 4th year out of Alcorn State. Extra wide receivers coming in now for Denver on 3rd and 3.
Better worry about blocking that defensive line before he worries about beating the corners.
Carl Harrison made that last stop, and I love the line by Al Baker. He said Carl Harrison, as they called him, Big Daddy, in his 14th year out of Maryland Eastern Shore. He said he'll be the first player in NFL history to collect a Pro Bowl check and a Social Security check in the same year.
Isn't he the guy that played against Terry Metcalf?
Yes, he was the only one in the field. You're right, the only one that had the distinction of tackling Terry Metcalf. He came over from the Eagles before the '85 season, and he's one of those inspirational leaders on the defensive unit. Long delay. It appears they're ready to go. Yes.
They had to add some time back onto the clock, the 40-second clock.
We've just received word that Turk Schoner has been hurt in that Bengals game at Kansas City, and Boomer Esiason is forced into action with a sprained ankle and all.
It's amazing how these guys play hurt. There's a half a dozen guys on Cleveland. We didn't know whether they're going to start or not, and they're all out there playing, including Brian Brennan. That's the end of the quarter.
Time runs out in the first 15 minutes of play. That's the end of the first quarter in Cleveland with the Browns on top. The quarterback for the Highlanders of Granada Hills High School in the San Fernando Valley of Southern California. Elway on 3rd and 3, back to throw, and it's off the fingertips of Jackson.
And you're right about one thing. They threw in Harper's area. Mark Harper, number 23. Elway and the Denver Broncos have really had some problems this year throwing the ball. Now, here's the throw out here to Jackson. And just take a look at this ball is in his hands, should have caught it. And there's number 23 Harper there covering, but he wasn't on the play.
Mike Horan, who had a 46-yard average last week in the Broncos win, punting once again.
Beautiful.
Turns it over. McNeil waits back at his own 10. He'll take it to the 9. Gets some blocks to the outside. On his way, Gerald McNeil past the 40. Needs one more block. And he goes down across the 45. Inside the 45 to the 43 of Denver, and he was brought down by the punter, Mike Horan. A 48-yard return for the one they call Cube in Cleveland, Gerald McNeil.
The Cube, all right, here's the Cube, but over here is they're keeping the first man away from the Cube so he can catch the football. Once he catches it, he moves back here where the wall is. Take a look at the right of your screen. You won't see the blocking there, but you won't see the offensive man coming downfield. Now the cube, when he gets there, take a look at the hole. There are no white shirts. It's easy to run, except for the punter. He lets the punter make the tackle.
1st and 10 at the Denver 43 for the Browns, and they already lead by 7 with Manoah going in motion. Kozar with time. He hits his tight end, Ozzie Newsome, inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for week number 5 of the NFL season, beginning at 12:30 Eastern with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and NFL Live. And then our exciting regional action. You'll be able to see the Browns in Miami against the Dolphins, Buffalo, Indianapolis, Houston at New England, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. A lot of great matchups, and then it'll be San Diego and Denver later in the afternoon, with Kansas City taking on Seattle. So check the local listings for the game and the time in your area. Down to the 38-yard line. For 2nd and 5 for Cleveland. Inside give to Jones. He's got the first down. Stacked up, but he's already got the first down to the 32-yard line, near the 31 of Denver.
I like what the Cleveland Browns are doing. The longest pass that Kozar has thrown is to Slaughter for the touchdown. They're just taking all the dumb stuff that the Denver Broncos are giving him. They're throwing to Ozzie Newsome. They're running draw plays, running off tackle, not worrying about going deep. Now here's the blocking up front. Just no question about the left guard. Banker, Farron on the left-hand side. They pick up the first down, being very, very patient.
The defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, Wade Phillips, is working with Buddy Ryan and the Philadelphia Eagles last year. 1st and 10 now for Cleveland at the Denver 32. Langhorne going in motion. The big fullback Manoah tripped up at the line, falls forward inside the 30, down to the 29. And he was tripped up around the ankles by Andre Townsend. Scores in week number 4 of the NFL season. Miami had a snap over Reggie Roby's head. That's why they got the safety, and they're trailing by 2. Detroit, a field goal from Eddie Murray. The New York Jets on a 92-yard interception return by Eric McMillan have the lead, and Buffalo is taking the lead now on New England. 2nd and 7 with the ball at the 29-yard line, close to 8 yards. The tight end Newsome goes in motion. Long count by Kozar. Over the middle, out of the hands of Webster and Slaughter. Just a bit behind Slaughter as Kozar had to release it just a little bit early.
He had to release a little bit early, but I'm going to tell you, they got to come back and take a look at Eric Metcalf, because Eric Metcalf was covered by the linebacker, Simon Fletcher, and I don't believe that Simon Fletcher can stay with Metcalf. Metcalf is on the bottom, number 21, and look who's out there with him, 73. Now here's Slaughter across the middle. He was open. He was open for a moment. Wyman Henderson was with him. But as you said, Kozar had to rush the ball.
Browns facing 3rd and close to 8. They are 2 of 4 so far in 3rd down conversions. Metcalf is the man in motion. Kozar can't get it to his wide receiver. That was Gerald McNeil. It would have been short of the first down anyway by a couple of yards. So now instead, it'll be a long field goal attempt coming up for Matt Barr.
Before the game, he was hitting them from this distance. Easy. But that's because no rush by the defense.
It'll be out of the hold of the backup punter, or the backup quarterback, Mike Pagel. It'll be a 47-yard attempt for Matt Barr. And it's blocked by Denver. Picked up by Grayson, or check that, picked up by the linebacker who's working in the special teams, Michael Brooks. Dennis Smith, though, it appeared, got his hand up in the air and blocked that field goal attempt.
Dennis Smith comes right from the outside on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of the field goal kicker, left-hand side of the defensive end, and really looked like he wasn't even touched coming in. Barr's a little bit upset. Right to the right of your screen. Comes right to the inside, and when he makes that move to the inside, there's nobody there to block him. Van Waiters is the guy that was supposed to block him, number 50, and doesn't do it. You can't let the inside guy go. Don't worry about the outside guy. His chances to get there are slim and none.
So far this afternoon, the Browns have dominated statistically, but still they only lead it by 7, and Denver gets it back 1st and 10 at their own 39 with Winder and Melvin Bratton, the rookie from Miami, in the backfield. Winder on his first carry, breaking tackles across the 45 near the 46-yard line.
You know what makes it even worse, Joel? There are only 10 players. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's nobody deep, and then the block comes right in here. Bang. They did it with 10 people on the field. That's really going to make Cleveland mad.
That was the best run of the day so far for the Denver Broncos. 7 yards from Sammy Winder. Dennis Smith doing it so long in the secondary in his 9th year out of USC. 2nd and 3. The ball at Denver's 46. They'll call Winder's number again. He's got the first down into Cleveland territory, down to the Browns' 48-yard line. When we talked to Bobby Humphrey yesterday, he said that there was one player in particular that kind of took him under his wing and looked out for him a little bit. Sammy Winder. And Sammy Winder's got to know, Paul, that eventually he's going to lose his job to the rookie from Alabama.
And he's going to be able to accept it because he knows he can still play the backup role for 2 or 3 more years as long as he stays healthy. Great attitude.
1st and 10. Inside the Cleveland 48. Winder, the lone one in the backfield, as Bratton goes to a wing on the hip of Clarence Kay, the tight end. Flags in the air as it appeared the Browns jump. Elway with plenty of time. Going deep, he's got Vance Johnson. It's complete. Inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
Geraldine Perry was the guy that was offside. Or Michael Dean Perry, excuse me, was the man that was offside. And then what happened is that Minifield didn't stay with Vance Johnson downfield. And you know when Elway's scrambling that he's going to be looking deep or looking for somebody coming back into his face. But he looked downfield, and Frank Minifield just did not stay with his receiver. The offside penalty is already there, and Elway is going to back out to the outside.
Offsides, number 92 defense. Holding, number 23 defense. Penalties are declined. First down.
And then you see Vance Johnson downfield. He just runs away from Minifield, and it gives the Denver Broncos the ball 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line.
A 35-yard completion. The offside call against Michael Dean Perry, and it goes back to what John Elway told us yesterday. He saw Michael Dean Perry on the Monday night telecast lift his hand up frequently in trying to anticipate the snap count.
And he's also changing his voice on this thing to get him offside.
1st and 10 at the 13-yard line for Denver. Mark Jackson going in motion. Bobby Humphrey gets it. Humphrey inside the 10 down to the 5-yard line. Close to another Denver first down. Dumped down by the safety Thane Gash.
Bobby Humphrey it was an off-tackle play. He went right to the hole and just took it for 8 yards down the field. I like the way this young man runs the ball.
The quickest running back for the Denver Broncos in many, many years. Finally gives Denver the ability to turn the corner from one of their tailbacks. 2nd and 2. Humphrey again over the top, close to the first down marker. Humphrey missed most of his senior season with a stress fracture to his left foot, and that's why a lot of people shied away from Bobby Humphrey. But when Dan Reeves found out he was still available in that supplemental draft, they wanted him.
They checked all over the country to find out how long he was going to be there, and they realized that the 3 teams that were ahead of the Denver Broncos at that time had either made trades or picked up in the draft the running back that they wanted, so they knew that he would be there in a supplemental draft, and they took him.
Alexander and Winder in the backfield. Double tight end set on 3rd, less than a yard. And Elway will throw. Throws it away. Pressure was coming from the linebacker, Mike Johnson.
I got to tell you, Joel, I would call that intentional grounding. Really, you know, even though that there was a receiver downfield, but he deliberately throws the ball into the stands. You're going to see the heat on Elway. This is to save a sack. because the defense is there. They're ready to nail Elway. Look where he throws the ball. There's not a white shirt in anywhere.
It'll be a field goal try coming up for David Treadwell in his first year out of Clemson. He has been perfect so far this season. 8 minutes and 59 seconds left in the first half of play. Denver looking for their first points of the day. Field goal by David Treadwell. 7 of 7 in the field goal department over the first 3 games. They'll call it a 21-yard attempt officially. It'll be out of the hold of Gary Kubiak. And Treadwell drills it through the uprights. So Denver finally putting some points up with 8 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first half. They now trail by 4. A drive that took 3 minutes and 12 seconds. And Cleveland ready to get the ball back with a 4-point lead. As we welcome you back to Cleveland Stadium, Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. They line drive it to try to keep it away from Metcalf, and it is away from Metcalf as it's picked up by Vernon Jones. He takes it to the 24-yard line. Other scores around the NFL. Kansas City once again with the lead over the Cincinnati Bengals as the Chiefs try to even their record at 2-2. New Orleans jumping on top early over Washington down at the Superdome. Pittsburgh on the road trailing on that Eddie Murray field goal. And Buffalo on a Thurman Thomas run with an early lead. Pitch goes to Metcalf on 1st and 10. Weaves his way across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Denver defense showing now, Paul, more often the 8-man defensive front since Wade Phillips came into the Denver situation. As Metcalf will get a quick breather. It hasn't been often that he's been off the field today. But Carl Mecklenburg was telling us yesterday he loves the new defensive alignment for the Denver Broncos. A very aggressive nature to it this year. 2nd and 6. The ball at the 28-yard line of Cleveland with Ozzie Newsome in motion. Kosar on the quick out, and it's complete to Langhorne for a first down. It's out to the 42-yard line.
All right, Joe, you were talking about this defense, and there are a lot of new faces in here, but just take a look at, you got a man here. There's 8 men up near the line of scrimmage, and as soon as the ball snapped, watch what happens with these linebackers. They'll move out. They'll go back into coverage. That's Dennis Smith, who's up on the line of scrimmage, and he backs out, and the linebacker, as soon as they read pass, they're out of there. Of course, Kosar hits the one-man that's covered man.
Brian Brennan, closest wide receiver to the near side on your screen, in for the first time today. He missed last week's game with a hamstring injury. 1st and 10 for the Browns at their own 42, and the counter goes to Metcalf. Smith couldn't get him, but the linebacker cleans up. That's Rick Dennison. No gain on that carry for Eric Metcalf.
That's going to be a tough play for the Cleveland Browns to run, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they ran it to the left, which means that you got to pull Fike and Ricozzi, or Rison. And when you pull those two guys, they're both hurting, they're both limping, and it's hard for them to get to the hole. You're going to have to run your sweeps to the right-hand side and not the left.
Metcalf splits out as one of the wide receivers. Manoa, the lone one in the backfield on 2nd and 10 from the Cleveland 42. Kosar with time. It's complete to Ozzie Newsome to the 49-yard line. For an update, let's go to New York now. Bob Costas in NFL Live.
All right, Joel, moments ago, Boomer Esiason threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Tim McGee. Why is Esiason in the game when we told you he wouldn't start? Well, he didn't start, but his substitute, Turk Schonert, injured an ankle when tackled on this play. Esiason, on a gimpy ankle of his own, had to come in. They trail 10-7 to the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Joel?
All right, Bob, thank you. So not the ultimate situation for Sam Weiss, as he had to rush Boomer Esiason back to work in a hurry. Big 3rd down for the Browns. 3rd and 3 at their own 49-yard line. Kosar will work out of the shotgun. That's Brian Brennan going in motion. And Kosar going for the bundle for Webster Slaughter. The defensive back, Dennis Smith, with him down on that play, helping out Wyman Henderson.
Remember we saw the Cleveland Browns didn't get over. Watch this. There's Henderson, number 24 on Slaughter. But number 49 is Smith. He is the safety. Look at his job. Look at the ground that he covers, and he is the closest man to the football. That's super coverage by the defense.
Brian Wagner comes on for his third punt of the day.
Mr. Excitement.
His first was 15 yards. His second, 11 yards. Ken Bell back deep for Denver.
That was almost blocked.
Line drives out a wobbler. It's taken to the 11 by Bell. Wrapped up crossing the 20 at the 21-yard line by Randy Robbins. So when we come back, Denver will have it first and 10 of their own.
505 and 506 Gs.
One of the best to ever play the game, taking it in today from the owner's booth, Art Modell, with former Brown running back Jim Brown. First and 10 for Denver at their own 21-yard line. Bobby Humphrey can't get out of the backfield. Cragen, the nose tackle. Or not Cragen, rather. It was Gibson, the defensive lineman, who's in there for the first time today. Gibson making the stop. No gain on the carry for Bobby Humphrey. It's been a difficult day for that Denver offense, as you can see.
And they're going to have to try to throw the football.
Pratt joining Humphrey in the backfield. So an all-rookie tandem behind John Elway on 2nd and 10. Movement on the line. Flags into the air. And a free down, it appears, for Elway. Elway goes down. Gibson in there again. First-year player from Northern Arizona.
Offside, Cleveland.
Looked like the right side of the defensive front was jumping off sides.
If that's the right side, it's Michael Dean again. Michael Dean Perry.
Encroachment, number 92 defense, 2nd down.
Well, Elway told us yesterday, he said, if I had him at home, I'd get him 7 or 8 times. There you see Michael Dean Perry moving, and he's on Keith Bishop, number 70 or 54, also getting some help by Karts at the center. But Elway said, if I can raise my voice up in the middle of the field like this, I can get him to jump. And he's doing it. He's done it twice so far.
2nd and 5 now for the Broncos at their own 26-yard line. Winder in there on the play-action fake. Elway. Vance Johnson can't hang on to it. Working on Harper, the cornerback, who's getting the start due to the injury to Hanford Dixon.
And you said it. They're going to go out there and work on Harper. Now look at Vance Johnson's going to come back. Harper's with him all the way. This is just super defense. That ball is down where only Johnson can catch it. He just missed the ball, but you've got to give credit to Harper for the coverage.
Chiefs maintaining that lead over the Bengals. Houston increasing their advantage to 12 now over the Dolphins. And Minnesota with a big early lead over Tampa Bay. 3rd and 5. Elway will work out of the shotgun with Johnson in motion. Pressure coming up the middle. Elway in trouble. He's down again. Clay Matthews with the sack.
When you talk about tenacity of a defense, Clay Matthews epitomizes it. Clay Matthews, number 57, is going to come up inside. Now, when Clay Matthews reads it, he can blitz. Now, watch what he does. He gets knocked off. There's 57, but watch who makes the tackle. Number 57, Clay Matthews. Just a super effort. Parts of center had a piece of him, but it only slowed him down.
Mike Horan punting from his own goal line. Brings down the high snap and booms it away to Gerald McNeil. Hangs up a very high punt. McNeil calling for the fair catch. He's got it outside of the 47-yard line. So that's where the Browns will put it back into play when we return to a sold-out Cleveland Stadium. A number of others on that Cleveland offensive line. Number 63, Cody Rison, playing hurt today, and we were told that knee of his could lock up at any time.
Floating cartilage.
1st and 10 for the Browns outside of their own 47, and Metcalf can't break the ankle tackle of Alfonso Carricker. Carrickers, 6th year out of Florida State. And a reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the contest.
Take a look at Cody Rice. You got to give him all the credit in the world. Now here he is. He's got a bad leg, and he's supposed to be blocking down and coming back into the linebacker, Mumford, number 51. He gets a piece of his man. That's all he's supposed to do.
Browns go with 3 wide receivers on 2nd and 9 from their own 48. Langhorne going in motion. Long count by Kozar. Over the middle, it's complete to Lawyer Tillman. That is his first career catch for the rookie from Auburn. Mecklenburg made him pay, though. A gain of about 4, close to 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 4, and at halftime, Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson with scores and highlights from the other games, and the Insiders Extra with Bobby Beathard and Ralph Wiley. Another key 3rd down for the Cleveland Browns with 2:24 left in the first half. 3rd and 5 from the 47, and they get the Broncos jumping off. Kozar goes for Slaughter. It's intercepted by Braxton. Well, let's find out what the penalty flag is all about. Braxton's reaction tells us a lot already.
The defensive line tells you a lot about it because they're not leaving the field. They know it. They're offside, right in the middle.
And in this series, Kozar is staying under his center, Riccozzi, a lot longer than we saw earlier in the game.
He's reading that defense because the linebackers...
Number 61 defense. First down.
That's Townsend. But the linebackers are so active for the Denver Broncos. It is a difference. Up here, right in here is where you're going to see the guys jumping offside. Right in the middle of the line. And Townsend is one of them, number 61. And Kozar sees it, gets him offside. I don't know if he's changing his voice or not, but he got him offside. That's what happens when you go to a longer count.
It turns out to be a Cleveland first down at the Denver 42-yard line. Manoah and Jones split in the backfield behind Kozar. Kozar in trouble. He goes down. First sack of the day for the Denver Broncos belongs to Simon Fletcher. And for another update, let's join Bob Costas in NFL Live.
Joel, at the Meadowlands, Colts driving for an apparent score, but Jack Trudeau's pass intercepted by the opportunistic Eric McMillan. Last year as a rookie, he led the AFC with 8 interceptions, brought 2 of them back for scores. This time, number 22 goes 92 for a touchdown. Jets 7, Colts zip.
All right, thank you, Bob. We have reached the 2-minute warning at Cleveland Stadium, and it's just as we expected. A tight your coach for the Cleveland Browns has to love the work of his defense once again, but his offense sputtering. Denver with 3 timeouts remaining. Cleveland used 1 earlier, so with 2 minutes remaining in the first half, they've got 2 left.
If you like defensive football, you're watching it.
Kozar on 2nd and 14. Pressured again. Finds Manoah. Manoah breaks the tackle to the 40. Still on his feet. Down to the 39-yard line. Great ad-lib by Bernie Kozar to find Manoah.
It's a great ad-lib by Bernie Kozar, but Bernie was running for his life. And here's Manoah. Tim Manoah, number 42. Now, he didn't block anybody because nobody came up in his area. So he moves it back to the inside. Michael Brooks is supposed to be covering him. Mecklenburg misses him. Here comes Brooks in there. He misses him. And then finally, Wyman Henderson, number 24, makes the stop.
3rd and 7 for the Browns at the Denver 39-yard line. Gerald McNeil, the extra wide receiver, goes in motion. It's over the middle, and it's complete. Langhorne's got it, but he's far short of the first down by at least a couple of yards. Down to the 34-yard line.
Mark Haynes and Dennis Smith, you talk about converging on a wide receiver. They do a great job to keep him from getting a first down.
Browns use a timeout. We'll come back to find out what they decide to do from the Denver 34.
I don't like the call. I'd get rid of the ball, get it out of there, punt the ball down. Don't let them get any momentum going in. at halftime. You want to keep the Denver Broncos off the field because they still have 3 timeouts left with 50 seconds. They'll take a timeout right after this play if they stop them. I'd punt the ball away.
Kosar is working with 4 wide receivers, and Manoah the only one in the backfield on 4th and 2, and it's Manoah up the middle for the first down and then some. Manoah spinning inside the 25 to the 22. And if it's not for Atwater in the secondary, he's gone all the way.
They got the hurry-up offense. That's another reason why I'm not coaching. They only have 1 timeout left. It was an excellent call. We got a timeout on the field by Denver. They're going to take 1.
Denver was trying to bring on some extra people in the secondary, and they appear to be confused.
First charge team timeout. A 40-second timeout.
Kosar and the Browns are not complaining with that last decision by Denver.
Not complaining at all, but just take a look at this young man right here, Mr. Fike, and he's going to come down and make the block right to the inside. It's going to open it up for Manoah, this man here, to come in the hole. And Atwater is the man that makes the tackle and saves the touchdown. Here comes Fike up into the hole. They seal everything off to the inside. Banker, number 68, and then there's Atwater, number 27, who saves the touchdown. It's a great call.
Nice cut by the big fullback, Manoah.
Manoah's such a great blocker, and every time he gets a chance to run with the ball, he wants something to happen, to make something happen, and he likes to punish people.
Manoah is in his 3rd year out of Penn State. And according to Bernie Kosar, he agrees with you, Paul. He said he's his best blocker out of the running backs. 1st and 10. Cleveland's got it to the Denver 22-yard line, and they lead it by 4 with 27 seconds left in the first half. Kosar into the corner of the end zone. Couldn't get it to McNeil. Great coverage by the Denver secondary.
That play took 7 seconds, but I'm going to tell you something right now. He's got to come back and take a look at the same play again, because they had Manoah, number 42, going down the sideline on the right-hand side, and he would have been able to pick up at least 10 yards and get out of bounds.
Browns don't have the luxury of trying to run the ball. They've only got 1 timeout remaining. And Kosar has the play brought in for the first time today by Barry Redden, former member of the Los Angeles Rams and the San Diego Chargers.
There's the same formation, Joel. I wonder if Barry Redden's going to go out in that flat.
It's 2nd and 10 at the 22. Kosar with time. Throws the ball away. Alfonso Carricker finally getting in there to apply the pressure on Bernie Kosar. It looked like he wanted to go into the end zone again, though.
Yeah, you're going to see the rush coming up. Alfonso Carricker is going to come in, number 92, and put the heat on Kosar. And if Kosar had looked to the right-hand side, Barry Redden was wide open, and all he had to do was dump the ball to him. They still have 15 seconds. Now, there's 2 plays that have taken 12 seconds total. They got time to run 1 more. He wants the ice cube back in again. And I would throw it to the back coming out of the backfield just to get you a little bit more room.
3 wide receivers this time. Quick count. It goes to the running back Redden. Inside the 20, down to the 18. Simon Fletcher wrapping up the running back. And now the Browns will utilize their final timeout with only 2 seconds left in the first half. Matt Barr tried a field goal earlier. That was blocked by Dennis Smith. It was a 47-yard attempt. He is now 4 of 5 on the season. His longest so far this year, a 27-yarder.
Dennis Smith came right inside number 50, Van Waiters, on the outside, who was the up back on the right-hand side. But I guarantee you they corrected that.
So Matt Barr will try to put the Browns up by 7. It started out today, Paul, where it looked like the Cleveland offense was really going to move the ball successfully against the Denver defense. But Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, obviously making some adjustments because they've slowed them down considerably.
Well, they had Denver keying on Eric Metcalf.
It'll be a 36-yard attempt. It's up, and it's perfect. That's the way the two teams head into the halftime locker room. The Cleveland Browns trying to beat the Denver Broncos for the first time since 1974. A 10-game losing streak. They've got a 7-point lead at the half. Level. Passing the 15-yard line. What a wake-up call to start the second half by Van Waiters. He's down at the 18.
Van Waiters is the guy that missed the block when Smith blocked the field goal. Now watch this number 50. He's making up for it. They'll never do what hit him. All of us, obviously, he didn't see him coming from his blind side.
So a boost already for the Cleveland Browns to start the second half from their special teams. Van Waiters in particular. It's the first time this year that the Denver Broncos have started a second half trailing. We'll find out how they respond. They've got it 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line. Winder starting to the backfield with Melvin Bratton, the rookie from Miami. It's Winder on the pitch. Waiting for his blocking. He moves it past the 20, out to the 21-yard line. Carl Hairston, Big Daddy, making the stop for the Cleveland Browns. He's in his 14th year.
You know, when you see a defensive lineman, especially a tackle, coming from so far inside to make the tackle, and that man number 57, Clay Matthews, is a guy that keeps stringing it out. He's the guy that enables these guys, the bigger guys, to get in on a tackle by doing his job.
2nd and 7 now with the ball at the 21-yard line. Pressure on Elway. He loses it. It's batted away by Grayson. Who comes up with it? Denver's got it. The outside linebacker, David Grayson, stripping Elway of the ball for the second time today. If you were with us in the first half, it was Michael Dean Perry doing the same.
The problem is that Elway has no one to throw the ball to. Clarence Kay is being covered by Clay Matthews, 57, and here comes Grayson. He's going to make the play all the way around from the outside, and that ball was hit. Elway was throwing the ball. If he had it up over his shoulder, they would have called an incompleted pass. But he was trying to throw the ball sidearm, and Grayson never gave him the opportunity to get his arm up. Excellent play by the defense.
And a very alert play by Bobby Humphrey to come up with a loose ball in the backfield.
Well, what they're going to do, I think, is they're going to view this to see if Elway's arm was in motion. The question was, I got to believe, Elway throws it from up over the top, and Grayson hits his arm and never gives him a chance to do that and knocks the ball out. All right, here's Elway from the back now. On the left-hand side is Grayson, number 56, is going to come in. Is Elway in the process of throwing the ball? No, he isn't. His arm was down, wasn't coming up or going through. So that play should stay, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Stand is called.
You bet.
3rd down.
Exceptional play by David Grayson. Turns out to be the 4th sack of the day for the Cleveland Browns. And as they say, the dogs are barking in the dog pound today. Elway on 3rd and long. Oh, Dave can't get it to his receiver. He wanted to go to Vance Johnson. The Browns defense really electrifying this crowd.
The defensive secondary, Joel, that's what we talked about at halftime. When the secondary plays that well and there's no place to throw the ball Elway can stand back there all day. Doesn't make any difference.
Mike Horan, one of the best punters in the AFC. 41-yard average so far today. They kicking it to Gerald McNeil. And he turns it over again. A high spiral McNeil from his own 39. Getting blocks to the 50. Just dumped down inside the 45, or he's off to the races by Mark Mumford, the linebacker. Dynamite field position for Cleveland to start their first drive of the second half.
All right, now you were talking about Elway having all day, but just take a look at the areas of the field. I'll just mark some circles here where the guys are, but all these guys here are in coverage, and there's just no place to go to throw the football. Now watch, when Elway stands back there, look it. He has time, yes, to look around, but who is he going to throw the ball to? No one. The ball is hit at the line of scrimmage, but he throws to a man with double coverage.
Gozar brings him out 1st and 10 at the 43 of Denver. Goes up top, hits his wide receiver Langhorne. And it's a 1st down to the 31-yard line of the Broncos. Langhorne, 6'2", 200-pounder, really went up top.
All right, here comes Langhorne, number 88, and he's just moving into this secondary where they're playing zone defense. Braxton is kind of releasing him to the safety. Safety never gets there. Langhorne picks up the first down.
Keith Jones takes over in the backfield for Eric Metcalf, joining Tim Manoa on 1st and 10. Ball at the 31-yard line. Flags into the air. Manoa on his way. Won't make any difference. It's a dead ball foul.
Offensive foul.
Ball start. Offense,
Yeah.
number 74. First down.
That's fair, and that's all dead.
Paul Farron starting at the left tackle position today. They have had to flip-flop a number of people on the offensive line.
Okay, here's Farron right here, and you're going to see him move. Manoa looked good kind of running down through there without anybody chasing him. There's Farron. He's moving just a little bit too early. It's on Powers. And there goes Manoa. He said, wait a minute. Isn't this nice? Nobody's trying to tackle me.
Farron was the starting left tackle in 86 and 87. And when he started at that position for the Browns in 86 and 87, they had a 15-4 record.
Yeah, don't worry about him playing over there.
1st and 15 now with Metcalf in motion from the 36 of Denver. Pocket holds up. It goes to Langhorne. It's complete again inside the 30. Down to the 27-yard line.
One of the big problems, Denver, they're just trying to get to Bernie Kosar with a 4-man rush, and they're not doing it. They're going to have to send some linebackers.
Kansas City and Ron Jaworski's first start of the year with a 3-point lead at the half over the Bengals. Houston thumping Miami after the first 30 minutes of play. Pittsburgh trying for their 2nd straight win in a row. And Buffalo taking it out on New England. Keith Jones on the pitch. Jones with flags down to the play. Goes down inside the 25 at the 24-yard line. Carricker making the stop. The flag went down where you normally see a holding call. Let's check in with our referee, Tom Dooley.
Holding, number 63 offense. 2nd down.
Cody Rising. I'll tell you who got an excellent block, though, was Tim Manoa. When Manoa gets the block, Keith Jones can run with the ball.
Penalties now really hurting the Browns after they got great field position on the solid return by McNeil to start with it at the 43. A couple of completions, a couple of first downs, but they pick up the illegal procedure call when they had it 1st and 10 at the 21. Now a holding call. And all of a sudden it's 2nd and 16 with the ball back at the 37-yard line.
Just get happy, but
Metcalf, the tailback in the eye behind Manoa. Kosar for Manoa. It's incomplete. The linebacker defending was Michael Brooks.
And Manoa better be awfully glad that Michael Brooks slipped, because if he hadn't slipped, he'd have taken Manoa's head off.
There's Wade Phillips. We just had him in our shot, the new defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos, with so many changes personnel-wise, is in their secondary. 3 of the 4 starters back there, newcomers this year in the secondary. And what a change it's been. 23 out of the 47 players on the Denver Broncos roster, 25 years or younger. And they're either in their 1st or 2nd year in the league.
And the only undefeated team in the AFC.
Cleveland only 2 of 8. This is 3rd and 16. Kosar eluding the pressure. And it's batted away and almost picked off by Mark Haynes. They were looking for Reggie Langhorne.
Oh, Mark Haynes might have still been running, because I don't think Kosar would have been able to hit him, because Mark Haynes is just reading. They're staying back. And Langhorne is downfield. Now look, you see Langhorne just sitting there. Now watch. He sees Kosar in trouble. Now he's got to come back to him. And he just sits there and waits and starts to move up. The ball hits Mark Haynes right in the helmet.
Wasted opportunity by the Cleveland Browns. Great defensive play, in particular by the secondary of the Broncos. Bell waiting for the punt. Brian Wagner, he's had a tough day.
Look at this guy.
Short spiral. And it'll be taken by the Browns as they touch it down inside the 10. At the 7-yard line by Stephen Braggs, the reserve cornerback. So when Denver comes back, they'll have it. But once again, in a big stadium, they had a rock concert, the Rolling Stones, here this past Wednesday night. not the best of shape the game this afternoon. 1st and 10 give is Sammy Winder. Nothing doing for Denver. Clay Matthews making the stop. And that's been the mode of operation for the most part. And with the way things have been going for that Denver offense, they're more and more, Paul, going to have to rely on the arm of John Elway.
Well, Clay Matthews plays over Clarence Kay, number 88. Now look at this. He gets blocked to the inside, or just lets his man go back to the inside, and then Clay Matthews just picks up the play. That's his job. If the tight end goes down, he reads run. He just sits in the hole, makes the play.
2nd and 8 with the ball at the 10-yard line. 9:55 left in the 3rd. Denver trailing by 7. The reverse goes to Mark Jackson. Didn't fool the Cleveland Browns defense. They stayed at home, and Felix Wright in particular.
Joe, Felix Wright made such a great play. And he's just sitting back there waiting, reading pass, and he saw all the play action, which when you run a reverse like that with all the play action, it just holds the safeties up into the line of scrimmage. That time Felix didn't get off because it didn't show pass, and he just sat there and waited on the play.
It'll bring up 3rd and long for Elway in the offense. He's only got 2 wide receivers in there. Puts Bratton on a wing on the hip of the tight end, Kay. Humphrey, the only one in the backfield with Jackson in motion. 3rd and 7 with the ball at the 11. Elway has it batted down. Clay Matthews again as he went for Mark Jackson.
Joe, they had Melvin Bratton and Jackson in the same spot. And when Elway looks over there, he's going to see both guys. Now here comes Jackson. 32 is Bratton. Now watch them coming out together. Bratton goes out. Minifield picks him up. And then there's Clay Matthews. He just sits there and rides it. Can't believe that Elway threw the ball there.
Mike Horan once again punting from his own end zone to Gerald McNeil. And doesn't really get into this one at all. It's off the side of his foot and out of bounds in Denver territory. Cleveland will have it 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line of the Broncos. Everything going cost the Cleveland Browns possession. It cost them 10 yards.
Didn't cost them possession because it was after the ball was kicked.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Browns right at the midfield stripe. Kansas City continues to lead by 3. Houston dominates Miami this afternoon so far. Lonzel Hill with a touchdown reception from Bobby Hebert. Good start for the Saints. Indianapolis trailing on the road to the Jets. Buffalo looks like they'll hand New England their 3rd straight loss. And Atlanta leads Green Bay.
New England is really hurting. I mean, they lost, Lepet and Tippett and Barris right off the bat in training camp.
Bud Carson said this week he wanted to run the ball more consistently. The Browns have done exactly that. They've got it 1st and 10 right at the 50. Eric Metcalf starts the series as tailback. Kozar for Webster Slaughter. Close to the 1st down marker. Mark Mumford making the stop. I believe it's enough for a 1st down. Yes, it is by a yard.
You give Bernie Kozar time, and he's going to beat you. Now, Wyman Henderson, number 24, is sitting out there and on Slaughter, and watch this. He's playing him to go all the way into the middle. He just checks up. Kozar finds him. He drifts to the outside. Mumford is there to make the tackle, but they get a 1st down.
Tough to give Webster Slaughter that much of a cushion.
You bet.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line of the Broncos. Metcalf and Manoah stay in the backfield. Kozar to Langhorne. It's complete down to the 30-yard line near another 1st down. Tyrone Braxton, the quarterback on that play, making the hit.
The reason this play works is because Dennis Smith has to go out with Eric Metcalf when he goes out into the flat, and when that happens, it just opens it up to the inside for Langhorne, and there's only one-on-one coverage.
Metcalf gets a break, comes over to the sideline, replaced by Keith Jones. Cleveland is dominating the battle of field position today, but they have not capitalized too often. Manoah plunging ahead for the 1st down, and he's got it inside the 29 near the 28-yard line. So the Browns move the chains once again, but this is the 4th time today that they have started with the ball in either Cleveland or Denver territory or right at the midfield stripe.
You got to like Cleveland's offensive coordinator, because they just sat back and they figured they're going to cover Metcalf. They're going to key on Metcalf. So if we can get Metcalf on one-on-one coverage, especially with a safety, and get him upfield, we may be able to get the ball to him.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 28-yard line of Denver. Cleveland continues to lead by 7. Kosar in trouble. Throws it away at the feet of Eric Metcalf. And a flag goes down. We may see grounding called. Fletcher and Carricker are applying the heat on the Browns quarterback.
They're going to call intentional grounding. I got to believe this was they were trying to get a screen pass out there to Eric Metcalf, and the Denver Broncos just read it so well there was no place to go, and they're going to call intentional grounding.
What is the difference, though, Paul, when Elway throws it into the stands without a Denver Bronco receiver even close? And here in this case, he is throwing it at the feet of Eric Metcalf.
Well, and I think
we have an illegal pass and loss of down. Number 19 offense. 2nd down.
The reason the Cleveland Browns are so upset, especially Bernie Kosar, because Eric Metcalf was in the area of the ball. All right, Kosar's going to be rolling out to the left of the screen or to his right. Now Metcalf slips out. Now you see the screen starting to set up. Then there's no place to throw the ball because Townsend is right in his face, and he hits the lineman with it. That's why they called it.
Now 2nd and 20. Loss of down. Kosar. With pressure again, gets it off to Jones. Jones is belted immediately. Wyman Henderson coming up, putting down Keith Jones in a big hurry. The completion is good, down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line.
We talked to Carl Mecklenburg yesterday about this swarming defense of the Denver Broncos, and he said before we only used to have 1 or 2 guys going to the ball. He says in this defense that the Denver Broncos have now, you'll always see 5 or 6 guys at the ball. That time, when Keith Jones caught the ball, 5 Denver Broncos were in his face.
3rd and long, 3rd and 16 with the ball at the 34-yard line. Well, the Browns waste the great field position once again. Brennan was in motion. It's over the middle for Langhorne. Can he get to the first down marker? No. He's shoved down by Randy Robbins at the 30-yard line. Way short of the first down.
Remember I was talking about the swarming defense of the Denver Broncos when they go to the ball? Now just take a look at this. Langhorne's going to come in, and when he catches the ball, watch the amount of people that converge on him. Here they come. Beautiful, beautiful defense.
It'll be a 48-yard field goal try coming up for Matt Barr. He's 1 of 2 on the day. It's on its way. It's got the distance. Does it have the direction? Yes. Cleveland has their biggest lead of the day. 2nd field goal of the afternoon for Matt Barr, and the Browns are now on top by Matt Barr on his field goal attempts, but he's out today with bruised ribs, and Greg Riccozzi now is snapping for the Cleveland Browns. So Riccozzi taking over and coming through after that 48-yard field goal. Barr gets into it, and it's taken by Ken Bell at the 5. Bell dumped down at the 20-yard line.
Kyle Kramer, number 40. What a great job on special teams.
Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for Week 5 of the NFL season, beginning at 12:30 Eastern with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and NFL Live. And then our exciting regional coverage highlighted with some great hard-hitting matchups. Bills Machine Gun Kelly leading Buffalo into the Hoosier Dome to battle Eric Dickerson of the Indianapolis Colts. Others will see a couple of great quarterbacks duel when Jim McMahon and the Chargers take on John Elway's Denver Broncos. And it's Kosar versus Marino in that game between Cleveland and Miami. Check the local listings for the game of the time in your area. 1st and 10 for Denver. They've got it at their own 20. Play action for Elway. And it's batted away. Michael Dean Perry.
They were trying to get the ball to Kay, but Perry is the guy that breaks it up. Kay's blocking. All of a sudden, he falls down and gets back up again. He's blocking on Gibson, but Elway couldn't get it. Perry is the guy that knocks the ball away. Elway has had some problems because this defense is in his face. and they're jamming him all the time. Look at it. It looks like right now Elway's got time. The defensive secondary is just making great coverage. There's Clarence Kay there. No way to get the ball there because Perry knocks it down.
Bratton in motion out of the backfield on 2nd and 10. Elway rifles it over the middle for Jackson. Make it Vance Johnson. Johnson inside the 40, to the 30, to the 20, all the way inside the 15-yard line to the 12. You know it's difficult to keep them down all day long with gifted wide receivers like Johnson and Jackson, and they find Vance Johnson.
They find Vance Johnson, and I said that the Cleveland Browns, they have a high-risk defense because they like to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. Now, Harper is supposed to be covering on Johnson. He doesn't, but watch what Harper does. He's the man that has the angle and makes the tackle and saves the touchdown. The ball is at the 12-yard line. When you take a look at outside, Harper's going to be on here, and he's the guy that's going to have to be covering these two guys here that's man-to-man coverage.
68-yard reception. Makes it 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 12. Bobby Humphrey on the give. Forced out of bounds, trying to turn the corner. He's out at the 8-yard line. Let's look back at that long pass one more time, Paul.
All right, we got to take a look at it. And you ended up with Harper right here. And I believe those are the two guys who are going to come down here in the middle. When that happens, you're looking at one-on-one coverage, but Harper does stay with him and make the play. Vance Johnson comes in. Bang, he makes the catch. And Harper chases him and saves the touchdown.
Not often you see Vance Johnson caught from behind. 2nd and 6 with the ball at the 8. Delay to Humphrey. Stacked up at the 5. Carl Hairston, the first one to wrap up the running back. And now it's going to be an interesting decision for John Elway and the Denver offense with 3rd and 2 inside the 5-yard line. Extra defensive backs coming in now for the Cleveland Browns. They bring in Tony Blaylock and Stephen Braggs. 3 wide receivers split out for Elway. Winder the only one in the backfield. And Elway's going to use his first time out in the 2nd half. Be pretty tough to hear his signal call anyway, with the noise down to the end zone in front of the dog pound. Big decision coming. Trailing by 10, the Denver Broncos are facing a 3rd and 2 inside the 5-yard line of the Cleveland Browns and in front of the noisiest area in all of Cleveland Stadium.
Well, after John Elway took the timeout, then he went to the official and say, hey, the noise is loud. And he's going to, I would imagine, if he can't hear, he's going to step away from this. He's came into the huddle just now, and he looked at the referee and just said, hey, wait a minute. If I can't hear, I'm coming out.
3rd and 2 with the ball at the 4-yard line. Humphrey, Alexander split in the backfield. Denver today 0 of 6 in 3rd down conversions. Their biggest so far. It's Humphrey up the middle. He's got the first down. He's got the touchdown. Flags down in the play, though.
Big Daddy thinks it's against Denver. He's been around long enough. He can referee if he wants.
Illegal formation. Number 76 was uncovered. Third down.
Joel, did you see when Elway got out of the huddle, the guys were standing there saying the noise? He said, get up to the line of scrimmage and get where you're supposed to be.
He was shoving one of his players into a different position out of the huddle. This is the way they lined up on 3rd and 2 at the 4.
And I'll be very honest with you, I don't see where the illegal formation is at this point. Because all the linemen are intact right here. That's no problem. I don't see it.
Only the 2nd penalty of the day against the Denver Broncos comes at a crucial time. Now it's 3rd and 7 with the ball back at the 9-yard line. Mark Jackson in motion. Elway out of the shotgun with pressure coming up the middle. Elway for the end zone, and a flag is down in the play as it's out of the hands of Sammy Winder. It falls incomplete, but was there interference?
We got a fight in the end zone between two players. If there's going to be pass interference, it's got to be on Clay Matthews, number 57, because he didn't play the ball, he played the man. But they also held Michael Dean Perry. I mean, they had him by the shirt, and I have to believe it's got to be Bishop that had him. I mean, and it was wide open. The officials are standing there when Elway's running around. Michael Dean Perry is being held.
Tom Dooley, the referee, sorting things out with his officials.
He's getting a little testy. He doesn't want that official to put his arm around him. You're on national television, you know, don't put your arm around me here.
An incredible play again, though, by John Elway when it looked like there was nothing available. He found Sammy Winder right on the goal line.
Well, nothing available. Personal foul. Personal foul there, but there's a holding penalty. They got 2 against Cleveland, 1 against Denver.
You'd have to believe the personal fouls will offset each other. Dead ball fouls, Paul, after the play was over. And the holding call would go against Cleveland.
All right, Clay Matthews is the man that's going to be covering Sammy Winder, and I think that's a pass interference where he is.
We have holding, defense, offsetting, personal fouls, offense and defense, replay, 3rd down.
They'll do it all over again.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they held Michael Dean Perry all over the field and didn't call it, and it was wide open. Michael Dean Perry is right here, and just watch what happens when he comes in. Watch the holding. Look at his arm. They're dragging. Bishop's got him by the throat, and the official's standing right there. Now, the defensive penalty was against Matthews, number 57, in the end zone, because he was playing the ball right here instead of playing the man, and they called pass interference there.
It'll be 3rd down once again. 3rd and 7 with the ball at the 9-yard line of the Browns. Inside give to Winder. Goes nowhere. Robert Banks tripped him up at the line of scrimmage.
Robert Banks makes a great play. Juriga, number 66, is coming out to block him, and Banks just goes underneath and makes the play and makes the tackle, and now the Broncos are going to have to settle for a field goal.
Treadwell has accounted for the only 3 points of the day for the Denver Broncos on a 21-yarder in the first half. This will be out of the hold of the backup quarterback, Gary Kubiak.
Will the clock operator please reset the clock to 2:30? 2:30 on the clock.
Right now, there's 2:22 left in the 3rd quarter. So they'll put 8 seconds back on the game clock.
Will the clock operator
That's the
please
second
put
time they've yelled at
2:30 on the
clock
official
operator. That poor
clock?
guy.
Is that a wake-up call?
They yelled at him twice. All right, he's got it now. He's got it.
It's a tough wake-up call in front of 80,000.
Oh.
The Browns have led throughout, but could easily be up by a lot more than 10 points with the field position they have enjoyed this afternoon. It'll be a 26-yard attempt for Treadwell. He's 8 of 8 on the season. Booms it right through the uprights. And once again, it's a 7-point game. So after a lot of confusion and a number of penalty flags, the Browns defense comes up big on 3rd and 7 from the 9-yard line. Big play by Robert Banks in his 3rd year from Notre Dame.
You know, I like to see they give the player's number when he's holding or it's his infraction. They ought to learn the clock operator's name and give his name. You know, just so people know who the guy is. It's messing up the.
Another look at the illegal formation.
All right, what they're saying here is that the right tackle is uncovered. Now, here's the right tackle. And I don't understand what difference does that make. See, this wide receiver here has got to be up on the line of scrimmage. And when he's out here, because he becomes an eligible receiver. So that when that man is out on the line and the tackle is there, the tackle becomes eligible receiver. And we thank George Finkel for that.
And that wide receiver who just came in the game, Michael Young, had only been in for a couple of snaps today. He was also the one that was involved in the altercation back in the back line of the end zone. Eric Metcalf waiting for the kickoff from Treadwell. Metcalf will work from his own 4. And Metcalf sliding down across the 20 at the 22-yard line. Good coverage by the special teams of the Denver Broncos. Kip Corrington making that hit. Kansas City still clinging to that 3-point lead that they had at halftime. Houston trying to bounce back from a heartbreaking loss in overtime to Buffalo last week. And a tight one down to the Superdome. Pittsburgh led most of the way. They still maintain that 7-point advantage. And the first start of the year for Doug Flutie, not a very productive one so far. First and 10 for the Browns from their own 22. Kosar to a wide open Webster Slaughter across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
Joe, when you give Bernie Kosar that much time, and we're talking about a patched-up offensive line, and here's Kosar hitting Webster Slaughter. Now, what happens on that play is Henderson lets him get to the inside, but Steve Atwater, number 27, is there. I got to believe that that was zone defense, and Atwater just missed the coverage.
First and 10 after the 20-yard completion to Slaughter. Browns have it at their own 43. Manoa goes in motion on the long count by Kosar, and Metcalf gets it. Metcalf tripped up after moving it past the 45 to the 47-yard line by the strong safety Dennis Smith. Browns have really not tried to go to the ground game all that often in the second half of play with 55 seconds left in the third quarter.
Well, you're wondering when you're watching a Denver Broncos defense in the past for years, all you ever heard was Carl Mecklenburg, number 77, his name all the time. And he said yesterday that this defense is a swarming defense. More people will make more tackles than he will.
He doesn't feel anymore like he's got to make the big play on every down.
That's right.
The dump off goes to Metcalf on second down. A great open field tackle by Dennis Smith with a flag down in the secondary. They don't come much better than that open field tackle by Smith.
No, Dennis Smith read it. And Ozzie Newsome, it may be offensive pass interference or a pick play. Ozzie Newsome was downfield, and he's the one that ran right to the official complaining. But that was a tremendous play by Dennis Smith to get Eric Metcalf in the open field like that, but he had the jump on it.
Cleveland has been their own worst enemy with all these penalties in the second half. It'll be declined by Denver.
Dennis Smith is playing the strong safety position, and he's the
offensive pass interference. Number 88, the penalty is declined. It's third down.
They call it on Reggie Langhorne, the wide receiver.
Took it over like who, me? I thought that was Ozzie.
One interesting comment Dan Reeves made to us yesterday in regard to his defense. He wondered why more younger players weren't making his defensive unit. He thought if the system was too complicated, then he was going to have to change the system, which he did, going to Wade Phillips. This should be the final play of the third quarter. On 3rd and 10 from the 43. Pocket holds up, and Kosar will run. Huge hole up the middle. Kosar for a first down into Denver territory. All the way to the 34-yard line. So when we come back to start the fourth quarter, the Browns will have the ball after the scramble by Kosar. And the Browns also clinging to that 7-point lead.
They don't feel he's going to run. They know he'll move sideways in the pocket, but never run upfield. There was no one to cover him.
Again, Cleveland has it deep in Denver territory. 1st and 10 at the Broncos 34 with Langhorne in motion. Keith Jones for very little up the middle. But he keeps those wheels spinning and takes it all the way for 4 yards to the 30-yard line.
All right, let's go back to the illegal formation. The illegal formation reads that you can't have a lineman uncovered, a 70, a 60, or 50 number uncovered. And what happened is the split end on the side where the tackle is has to be up on the line of scrimmage, so that now the tackle is playing his normal position. If he's off the line of scrimmage, it makes the tackle a legal or an illegal receiver, and that's why they made the call.
It's now 2nd and 6 with the ball to the 30-yard line. Manoa, the only one in the backfield with the tight end Newsome in motion. Pressure on Kozar. He'll run it again inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. Simon Fletcher wrapping up the quarterback when it appeared that Kozar once again was going to pick up a critical first down.
All right, Bernie, you can outrun the defensive lineman, but you're not going to outrun linebackers. Bernie, it's not swift of foot. I love his guts. He's got to be laughing. I've never run so much in my entire life. That's because the defensive secondary really did a great job. Brooks misses him in the backfield. Now he's going to try to outrun Fletcher, number 73, and no, Bernie, get down.
3rd and 3 now for the Browns. Ball to the 32 or make it the 27-yard line. They're 3 of 11 in 3rd down conversions. Metcalf on the inside give. Breaks out the first tackle. Breaks another tackle. He's close to the first down marker. He needed to go to the 24-yard line. That's exactly where he went down.
What a difference it is when you have a running back that just keeps his feet moving. When Metcalf went inside, I mean, he doesn't like the mark of the ball.
There is a flag down on the play as well out of the secondary.
And it's going to be called against Cleveland. But Metcalf keeping his feet moving, was stopped at the line of scrimmage, moved back to the outside, and did have the first down, I thought, but the flag is on Cleveland.
Illegal use of hands. Number 84, offense. 3rd down.
That's a wide receiver trying to apply a block downfield. Webster Slaughter.
All right, watch Metcalf here now. He's going to try and follow right up in the middle of the line. There just is no place to go. Now watch what he does. He keeps his feet moving and then moves back out to the outside. Now here comes Slaughter. Slaughter's block was from behind. He was on the left of the screen, hit the man. When you can see his name on the jersey, you can't touch him. The worst part about it is Metcalf already had the first down.
Instead, it'll be 3rd and 10 with the ball back at the 34-yard line of Denver. 4 wide receivers setting up for Bernie Kosar. Kosar throwing it away as it was almost picked off. Throw it way ahead of his intended receiver Langhorne. Almost intercepted by Randy Robbins. Kansas City still maintaining that 3-point lead. Houston adds to their advantage over Miami. One of the closest games of the day down at the Superdome. Pittsburgh looking for their 2nd straight, while the New York Jets try to even their record at 2-2. And Minnesota in control in the 4th at home. A couple of other scores. New England finally gets a touchdown with Doug Flutie guiding the offense today. And Atlanta winning on the road at Green Bay. Wagner in to punt it away. Bell back deep as Wagner will try to angle it, but it goes down the middle instead. And it hits just before the goal line. The Browns down it inside the 5.
They love him again, Joel.
Been a tough day for that young man, Brian Wagner. 3rd year out of Cal State Northridge. But he comes through early in the 4th quarter. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Denver 18-yard line.
You thought you heard the noise when they were going in for the score. Where do you hear it when they come trying to get back out of here?
Paul, I'm surprised they have not utilized Clarence Kay, the tight end. He caught 5 last week in the win over the Los Angeles Raiders, and usually when things are working well for Denver, Kay is in the middle of things.
Well, they got Pat Kelly in there now. Number 87 is a tight end.
They send Melvin Bratton in motion. Play action for Elway out of his own end zone, and it's almost intercepted. Out of the hands of Mike Johnson. Well, Bobby Humphrey told us yesterday one of his biggest adjustments was trying to hang on to John Elway's rifle passes. It's got to be tough for a linebacker.
It is. And Johnson was right there. He can walk into the end zone. He's reading Elway's eyes. His man actually is sitting in there and waiting for the back to come out, which is Humphrey. He doesn't come out, but Mike Johnson reads it so perfectly, and the ball hit him in the hands, and he dropped it.
What an exceptional day it's been so far for the Cleveland defense. It's now 2nd and 10 for the Broncos at their own 4-yard line. Elway rifles it for Jackson. That's incomplete. Mark Harper, the cornerback, getting the start today due to the groin injury to Hanford Dixon. He has come up with some big plays as well.
Clay Matthews was right in Elway's face, and that was just a bad pass because he had the wide receiver Mark Jackson open. Would have been a first down.
I don't think John Elway's happy right now with Mark Jackson.
All right, they have Michael Young in there. Elway is complaining.
Flying debris. We're going to change ends of the field. 3rd down.
Now the dog pound throwing things out of the end zone seats.
I've never seen this done.
John Elway asked for it, and he received it. So it'll be 3rd and 10 at the 4 at the opposite end. Hanford Dixon, nicknamed the Browns defense the Dogs, and the fans took to it immediately, especially at that end of the field.
Well, the people at the other end, if the guy has a good arm, he can hit him. It's only 30 yards. But I'll tell you, there's enough people at that end that can yell just as much as this end over here.
Well, Paul, I know you've seen a number of games at this stadium, and I worked a couple at Cleveland Stadium last year, and I have never seen it, and I've always seen dog bones in other articles coming out of the end zone.
Bud Carson is very upset about it. Now, what happens if they get the first down? Do they go back to the other way again? I'm just looking at the flags. The flags are basically limp, so I'm looking at any kind of wind advantage that Denver might give up or pick up. Doesn't seem like much, but if you think that crowd was noisy before, listen. Here they go.
Most of the NFL say this is the noisiest stadium that is not domed.
Elway looking around.
Tom Dooley tells Elway to play on. Elway throwing his arms up in the air like I can't hear.
There's a high school field next door here, Joel, if they can go over and finish this if they'd like.
Now with the new rule in the NFL, the home team can lose timeouts after the first warning from referee Tom Dooley.
And you really don't want to cause it in any game, but especially in this game, you know, when you're looking at how close this game is and remembering what Elway can do to you going up and down the field with him throwing the ball. He may be having a bad day so far, but that can turn around in a heartbeat.
We have talked to the defensive captain to help control the noise. Thanks for your cooperation.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That disclaimer provided by Tom Dooley.
And it's really going to help. And watch this.
Critical play coming up for the dog defense, as they call it. Cleveland trying to beat Denver for the first time since 1974. And Denver yet to convert on a 3rd down today. 3rd and 10 from the 4. Elway going deep and throwing it away. Flag down on the play. Young went to the inside. Jackson over to the near side. Pass wasn't close to either of those two receivers. And Frank Minifield really upset when he saw the flag go into the air. It's going to go against Denver, though.
Minifield was covering number 83, Michael Young.
Offensive pass interference. Number 83 offense. 4th down. Penalties decline.
It was Michael Young pushing off. Minifield had excellent coverage. Besides that, the ball wasn't catchable. Here's Minifield on Young, 83 and 31. Now watch this. Michael Young pushes off there. You can't do that. The defensive man has as much right as you have. But again, that ball, as you said, was not catchable.
Duran to punt it away from his own end zone. It's a wobbler, a returnable type for McNeil, who takes it at the 48. McNeil inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line of Denver. Again, exceptional field position for the Browns to start their drive. And Bud Carson still upset over that call by the referee to change ends for the Denver offense. It'll be 1st and 10 inside the 39 when we come back for Cleveland. A factor today at Cleveland Stadium, but while we were away, Bernie Kosar was trying to get Tom Dooley to turn things around one more time. 1st and 10. Cleveland's got it. Just outside of the 38-yard line of the Broncos. And Kosar called a timeout.
The 30-second clock was down to 1 second. Bernie, when they took the timeout after they got the punt return, he went to Dooley and he said, I want to turn it down. I want to go into the dog pound.
He spent more time with the official than his own offensive huddle.
Now, this was before, during the timeout, Bernie was talking to Dooley, and Dooley shaking his head no, and Bernie said, wait a minute, if you gave it to them, they turn it around, give it to us.
I think that's the first time we've seen a smile out of Tom Dooley today.
Poor baby's had a tough day.
It's been a tough day as well for the Miami Dolphins and Don Shula. Washington with their first lead of the day at the Superdome in the 4th quarter over the Saints. Pittsburgh has extended their advantage over the Lions now at the Silverdome, and it's all tied up between the Colts and the Jets, with Minnesota in control at home, and Buffalo up by 21 of the Patriots and Doug Flutie. 1st and 10, just outside of the 38. Metcalf on the reverse gives it off to Langhorne. The blocking not there. Langhorne in no man's land with flags down to the play, and he's down to the 49-yard line.
And you're going to have a holding penalty on Ted Banker, number 68. Denver talked about this yesterday. They said, we know they're going to run a reverse, and we talked to the Cleveland people, and they said, we would like to get the reverse done early in the game. This isn't early in the game. There's 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Again, though, Cleveland killing themselves with penalties when they get the great field position.
They've had super field position all day long and have only been able to put 13 points on the board. And that's just by stupid penalties.
Illegal use of hands. Number 68 offense. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
They call it on Ted Banker, the left guard, his 6th year out of Southeast Missouri State. They'll decline the penalty because it was a loss of 10 yards. The average drive for Cleveland has started at their own 48-yard line. It's now 2nd and 20. Back at the Broncos 49. Lawyer Tillman going in motion. Kosar has it go off the fingertips of his receiver Tillman, who came up with his first career catch earlier today in the 1st half. But when you need 20 yards, you're not going to get much throwing it 6-7 yards past the line of scrimmage.
You're not, and they thought they had to isolate with Tillman on Mecklenburg, but Mecklenburg was all over Lawyer Tillman, and he got the ball. It had only been good for about 3 yards anyway, because Mecklenburg was there.
You'd have to think, Paul, the Denver Broncos feel very fortunate about the position they're in right now. They only trail by 7. Plenty of time, 11:38 left in the 4th quarter, and their offense really hasn't been in sync all day.
Hadn't been in sync and hadn't had field position, starting at their own 12 on the average.
3rd and 20 now at the 49 of Denver. Kosar in trouble. He's down again. Simon Fletcher with his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Simon Fletcher just took Cody Rison all the way back to the quarterback. Rison just couldn't even come close to holding him, and Fletcher made the play. He's a linebacker in a down position. Cody Rison on the left of your screen will be trying to block him, and just take a look at Fletcher. Rison can't hold him. Fletcher makes the tackle. Cody was holding Fletcher.
That series started at the Denver 39. And now they're punting from the line of scrimmage for Cleveland, their own 43. Wagner into punt to Ken Bell. Barely gets it away in time. Bell bobbles it at the 20. Diving for it. It appears that he came up with it. Yes, he did. Near the 24-yard line. Keith Jones, the first one down there for the Cleveland Browns. So the Broncos get it back, still down by only 7. Watching today's game in the owner's box, you see Art Modell as well. that last punt, the Cleveland Browns almost got another break. Ken Bell couldn't hang on to it.
Ken Bell just took his eye off the ball, but he had enough presence of mind to get back and get on the ball. Don't try to pick it up, just fall on it.
Double tight end set. They've got Pat Kelly and Clarence Kay in there. Winder the only one in the backfield as Elway fakes the pitch. He's got problems and almost throws the interception to Grayson. They still can't find the tight end.
Well, when you're forced out of the pocket, Robert Banks is in there, number 97. Here's Benefield covering, but look at Clarence Kay, number 88. You think he isn't open? Nobody is covering Clarence Kay at all. But Elway's running for his life, and Grayson drops the ball. That's 2 linebackers, drop 2 balls, and stop a drive in great field position.
2nd and 10 now for Denver. Their own 24-yard line.
Elway is just frustrated, Joel, and he has to be.
Sewell's the motion man. Winder the single set. Elway with time again. Throws an interception, this time to Grayson. To the 30. Gets a block to the 20. Flags down on the play, and he's out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
There are flags all over the place, but it's after the interception.
The third-year man from Fresno State wasn't going to drop it this time.
Elway was trying to hit Pat Kelly, number 87, with the ball, and there was just no place to throw the ball. The Browns were sitting in a zone defense. I think it's the block afterwards, and it might have been...
After the interception.
Hairston.
Illegal use of hands, a block in the back. Number 78 on defense. First down, Cleveland.
All right, we're going to look at Grayson here and watch it. He's just going to come back in here and play center field and read Elway's eyes. But Elway throws it, going to hit him right in the hands with it. He's trying to hit Pat Kelly, number 87. Now watch Grayson move into the picture. There it is right there. Pat Kelly is there. Grayson gets there first. He dropped 1. He said, I'm not dropping 2. And you see the block from behind by Hairston on Winder. Cleveland has the ball in great field position again.
They're at the Denver 33-yard line. 1st and 10. They come out in the eye with Metcalf behind Manoah and Langhorne in motion. It's Manoah banging it straight ahead inside the 30 to the 28-yard line for a gain of 5. Now let's see if they go to the ground. Try to take some time off the clock with 10:45 left in the 4th.
Well, they're bringing Keith Jones in to run back there with Manoah. And I just got to believe that Bernie Kosar and the Cleveland Browns are going to try to keep it on the ground. They're inside 10 minutes and 30 seconds in the 4th quarter. And here's where they just used the blocking of their offensive line and Manoah, number 42.
2nd and 5. The ball at the 28-yard line of Denver. 7 men on the line of scrimmage for the Broncos. Kosar taking his time, getting under his center as he watches the play clock in the end zone. It's Keith Jones on the carry. And Jones breaking free inside the 25. A yard short of the first down to the 24-yard line. Wrapped up there by the free safety Steve Atwater.
They're just Manoah is just a super blocker. I'm just sitting there watching Manoah, and he just blows the linebackers off the line of scrimmage with no problem at all. And he knows that every once in a while I'm going to get the ball, and he's smiling. If I don't get it, Jones, I'll block for you.
And Manoah complements the other 2 tailbacks so well now, Metcalf and Keith Jones. The speed out of the backfield. Crucial 3rd down for the Browns. They haven't had a lot of success in 3rd downs either today. Bernie Kosar has hit 20 of 31. But in 3rd downs, they're only 3 of 12. 3rd and a little bit better than a yard. And Jones near the first down marker. He lunged at that last second. Close to the 23-yard line. Carricker, though, got great penetration. The left defensive tackle for the Denver Broncos.
All right, right behind here is Manoah. Now watch, he's going to come right over here and make the block on the outside. Watch Manoah's block. Here he comes, right to the outside, and he just hammers Michael Brooks. And they're going to measure for this. I think they may be about a half a ball short. You kick the field goal, it puts you back up by 10, or do you go for it? Maybe half a ball short, or more than that now. Boy, they got to move that thing back a little bit. That's a long way.
They're almost a full yard short of the first down. And Matt Barr will try to give the Browns a 10-point lead. He has hit a couple of field goals today. He's had one blocked. He had a 48-yarder. Also a 36-yarder. His first attempt from 47 yards was blocked by the Broncos' Dennis Smith, who went in untouched up the middle. This time it'll be spotted at the 32, making it a 42-yard attempt.
Remember, there's a new center in there now on the field goal team.
The new center is Greg Ricosi. It's back, it's down, it's up, it's on its way, and it's no good. So it stays a 7-point Cleveland lead. Even though, once again, they got the ball in incredible field position in Denver territory.
It just amazes me the number of chances the Cleveland Browns have blown in this ball game. Now here's Barr. Let's just see, the snap is perfect. Ricosi gets the ball back. There's no problem. Pagel gets it down, and Barr just misses it.
That last drive was the 5th time today that Cleveland has started with the ball in Denver territory. Winder on the 1st and 10 carry. Belton as soon as he gets it past the 25 to the 27-yard line. Al Baker, Mike Johnson combining for the stop. What a long day, though, it has been for John Elway. 3 of 15 for 127 yards. And he had that one pass picked off in the last series by David Grayson.
And you wonder why, you know, he's not throwing the ball to Sewell and all the other people. He's got Jackson and Johnson and Clarence Kay. He just hasn't had the time.
2nd and 7 with the ball in the 27 to delay to Bobby Humphries. Bobby Humphries with room across the 35. Out to the 40-yard line for a Denver first down.
And this is a draw play. The Cleveland Browns sitting back thinking that Elway's going to throw the ball, and he hasn't had that much success. 26. You're going to see it right now, Bobby Humphrey. But just look at the good-looking blocks by Alexander up in front, which is also called a hold. I just can't understand how the officials miss them when they're right in the middle of the field and they're right in front of you.
Alexander in front of Humphrey with Jackson in motion on 1st and 10. Fake on the reverse. Humphrey can't get away from the cornerback in the free safety Thane Gash. He's dropped at the original line of scrimmage, the 40-yard line. Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for Week 5 of the NFL season, beginning at 12:30 Eastern with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and NFL Live. Then our exciting regional coverage, highlighted by some great hard-hitting matchups. The Bills' Machine Gun Kelly leads Buffalo into the Hoosier Dome to battle Eric Dickerson and the Indianapolis Colts. Plus other regional action, so check local listings for the game and the time in your area. 2nd and 10, flags down to the play. Humphrey across the 45, spinning up near the 49-yard line. Again, Gash wrapping up the running back. But there were flags at the line of scrimmage. And Clarence Kay tells us offside against Cleveland. It's a gain of close to 9. You take the down back and take the 5 yards.
You know, when you talk about this game and the opportunities that Cleveland has had, just give credit to the Denver Bronco defense. I mean, they've stayed in this ball game all the way, only given up 13 points. And one was on a fumble.
57 defense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
Remember, the fumble came by Michael Dean Perry, and all of a sudden, right off the bat, they get a touchdown. But that's 2 field goals after that. This defense of Denver, you've got to give an awful lot of credit because they've hung in there all day long and have not had any help, and I mean any help, from the offense.
And that defensive front 3 for Denver in particular has put a lot of pressure on Bernie Kosar. On 3rd and 1, they get the first down. John Elway with the quarterback sneak to the 49-yard line.
Does this look like overtime to you?
I think I said that about a half hour ago, that it looked like a dead cinch for overtime. But you bring up a good point, Paul, because the secondary for Denver has 3 new starters in there joining Dennis Smith. And a very aggressive Denver defense. They don't sit back and wait any longer. They gamble. They take chances. 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 49. Vance Johnson in motion. Elway Close to another first down to the completion, but flags are down on the play again as it's taken into the 39-yard line by Mark Jackson. This time, illegal use of hands against Denver. Seems like the second half it's been about a flag every other play.
Well, it's like 3 steps forward and 6 back.
Illegal use of hands. Number 60 offense. First down.
They call it on the left tackle, Gerald Perry, in his second year out of Southern University.
You know, that was the first pass in this drive that Elway has thrown, and they took the ball over with about 10 minutes to play, and the ball, it's down to now 3:47 and counting. 5 minutes to play? 5 minutes and 47 and counting. Sorry, I said 3 minutes.
First and 20 now. Denver at their own 41-yard line. 3 wide receivers in the pattern. They brought in Sewell. Pocket collapsing. Elway, though, going for the bundle for Sewell. Sewell's got it to the 10. All the way down to the 5. And he worked against Frank Minifield.
Okay, we kept saying, you know, why doesn't Elway throw to Sewell downfield? Well, when you have enough time to throw the ball, and Elway had all the time in the world, Sewell just gets to the inside of Minifield, and Minifield is one of the best, and beat him to the inside. They have the ball at the 6-yard line. Here's what I'm talking about, Joel. This makes a heck of a difference to a quarterback when you can stand there and look over everything and wait for your wide receiver to get open. Excellent blocking by the offensive line.
First and goal at the 6. The give to the fullback, Alexander. Bottled up right at the line. Clay Matthews stuffing the play completely. Michael Dean Perry also in on the stop. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. How often do the Denver Broncos go down to 4:20 left in the game without a touchdown on the afternoon?
Now here's another look. The Browns are going with 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. They brought in number 51, Eddie Johnson.
The rookie's in the backfield, but Elway will throw on 2nd and goal. Firing for the tight end. It's low and incomplete, looking for Clarence Kay.
They just brought in Eddie Johnson, and he lined up, and as soon as he reached past, his man is Clarence Kay. The question is Clarence Kay pushing off? Here he comes off the line of scrimmage. Clay Matthews releases him to Eddie Johnson, 51. Now look at this. No pushing off. They just get into contact. That ball hit him right in the chest. Was a little low.
And it was only 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know. That thing ricocheted off his shoulder pads. Put a dent in his chest.
3rd and goal at the 6-yard line. 3 wide receivers to the same side. The lone one to the near side, Michael Young. And Elway autolyzing at the line, but didn't get it in time. He had to use a timeout. Elway again pleading his case to Tom Dooley that Winder couldn't hear my audibilize from his set as the tailback.
I think that really Sammy Winder saw the coaches, and he ran up to Elway to say, hey, get a timeout. Now here's Dan Reeves. He's looking at this, and now he's mad. Maybe he didn't want a timeout. Dan. That leaves him with 1 timeout. He didn't want a timeout there, but I agree with you. Sammy Winder probably could not hear anything, and if there is an audible down there, if you're going to call one, now don't tell me they're going to move this thing again, are they? They're going to take it down the other end again?
No.
You don't
They're
think
not
so?
moving in that direction now. And nothing is coming out of the end zone stands. It's at the 6. 3rd and goal. 4 minutes, 2 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
Joel, this is 4-down territory. I got to believe that. They don't want to come out of here with a field goal. They want to come out of here with 7 points.
They're trailing by 7, 13-6. They go with the same formation. Sewell, the only one in the backfield. Elway out of the shotgun with flags in the air. Hits Johnson. Touchdown, Denver. Flags on the opposite side of the field, though. The Denver Broncos, a point after try away from tying things up.
97 defense. Penalties is declined. Touchdowns.
Vance Johnson with the first touchdown of the day for the Denver Broncos.
And Vance Johnson comes all the way across the field to get this ball, and there's just no way, even with the coverage. Gash was there, but excuse me, that wasn't Gash. It was Braggs that was there, and just no chance.
Treadwell tries to tie it up out of the hold of Kubiak. And it's all even in Cleveland. You figured it was going to be a struggle coming in today. It's turned out to be a defensive battle between the Browns back on the field goal, the 26-yarder by Treadwell, and now that touchdown pass to Vance Johnson. What a gifted athlete.
He is. You know, we talked about it. All the opportunities that the Cleveland Browns have had in this ball game, they should have 35 points on the board. They have 13, and they're tied.
Eric Metcalf, the man in the middle, waiting for the kickoff from Treadwell. High one, but a very short one, taken to the 12. Metcalf looking for room. Up the middle. Pounced down. Across the 25. Down to the 27-yard line. Other scores around the NFL. Cincinnati with their first lead over the Kansas City Chiefs in the fourth quarter. Houston demolishing Miami. Washington on a low Miller field goal. Still with the lead in the fourth quarter at the Superdome. Pittsburgh trailed early. 3-0. That's the only time they trailed today. And Atlanta and Green Bay. A close one. The home of the Packers. First and 10. Kozar from his own 27. Over the middle, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Denver's Mark Mumford. He's hit down from behind at the 33-yard line of Cleveland. It looked so good just a few minutes ago for Cleveland in trying to win for the first time since 1974 over the Denver Broncos, but it's disintegrating in a hurry.
We kept talking about this Denver defense and how they just stayed in this ball game and stayed in this ball game. They had poor field position the whole time. And just watch what happens. Mumford 51 is a linebacker. He's reading Kozar. He sees him looking to the inside to Slaughter and just makes the play. The safeties were there. Atwater was there. No problem at all. Great play by the linebacker. We're seeing linebackers with more action today than I've seen in any ball game.
Humphrey and Bratton in the backfield on first and 10 from the Cleveland 33. Misdirection to Humphrey. Ran up the back of his own blocker. Only gets a yard. Mike Johnson making the hit. This is the first time this afternoon that Denver has started a drive in Cleveland territory. And it comes with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left.
And this game is tied, and that's that defense. And you just can't say enough for Wade Phillips' defense. Just stayed in there. They hung in there and hung in there. You know, you can only contain Elway for so long in this offense, and it is a high-powered offense, and it is a high-risk defense by the Cleveland Browns. Now they've got their backs to the wall for the first time in this ball game.
Two tight ends, two wide receivers in the formation, and Bobby Humphrey, the only one behind Elway on 2nd and 9 from the 32-yard line. Elway has Johnson again over the middle. Near a first down. He's got a first down to the 22-yard line. So difficult to go man-on-man with Vance Johnson.
All right, that's Harper out there with him, and he's going, they're all man-to-man. In the entire secondary, it's man-to-man. Johnson there, Harper is just trying to stay with him, and Elway, talk about 100 miles an hour. That thing was 100 miles an hour. But the whole defensive secondary were all man-to-man coverage because the Browns just came with that high-risk defense of theirs with a full-scale blitz.
Alexander brought in the play. He joins Bobby Humphrey in the backfield. First and 10 at the Cleveland 22. It's Alexander breaking tackles inside the 20. Down to the 10-yard line. Another first down for the Denver Broncos. The 2-minute warning at Cleveland Stadium. Treadwell getting ready if needed. It's first and 10 just outside of the 10-yard line.
Treadwell, the man, has not missed a field goal so far this season in 4 games.
He's got a couple today, 26 yards and 21 yards. He is now 9 of 9. He has not missed an extra point either.
And this field goal, if it just stayed right here, would be 27 yards. And I know the Denver Broncos are probably going to try and run the ball. Here I go again guessing. I've been wrong twice today, but try to run the ball, get some time off of that clock. Cleveland only has 2 timeouts left. And they have to save them for the offense.
2 tight ends set on first down. Kelly to the left, Kay to the right. Alexander and Winder gets it. Between his guard and tackle down to the 8-yard line. Now do the Cleveland Browns start using their timeouts? Yes, they'll use their first. Browns have 2 remaining as it's tied at 13. And the Broncos trying to break that 13.
What was the opening of our show? Wasn't it Elway going down the field?
The drive.
That's something. Talk about snake bitten.
Art Modell, the owner of the Browns. Looking on from his box with Bratton in motion. Second from the 8. Winder. Racked up in the backfield. Fumble. Who's got it? Cleveland recovers. Frank Minifield with the fumble recovery. Johnson with the big hit on Sammy Winder.
I said a high-risk defense, and these guys put an awful lot of pressure on you. There's Modell talking to Jimmy Brown. But you take a look at it now. Here comes Winder, and he's trying to get to the outside. And look at Johnson. He is right there and makes a play and just strips the ball out of Winder's hand. Minifield in on the play. They've got 1:42 with only 1 timeout.
From one extreme to the next. In the owner's box, our producer today, George Finkel, our director, Brian Sheriff. We could be around for quite some time now with 1:42 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
After further review, the play will stand as called. First down.
Was there any doubt?
All right, let's just take a look at it again. And Mike Johnson is the man who's going to strip it. Here comes Winder. He just reaches for the ball and then just yanks it out. Winder can't do anything with it. Minifield, number 31, jumps on the ball. They have, what, 84 yards to go?
2 wide receivers to each side for Kozar. Buys some time. Now he's in trouble and he goes down. Again, that defense getting in there. Andre Townsend. Good pressure all day on Bernie Kozar.
There was excellent pressure on Kozar, and they're in a hurry-up offense, but Kozar did the smart thing. Don't make a mistake and throw the ball away here. If you have to, we'll go into overtime. That's what he's telling his players.
Sack is a loss of 3 back to the 13. 2nd and 13. Little one to Brennan. Hangs on after he was hit immediately by Carl Mecklenburg. It's out to the 20-yard line, bringing up a 3rd. 3rd and 6. For the first down, Brennan's got it. Across the 30 to the 32. They'll continue with their no-huddle, hurry-up offense. Under a minute left.
All that Kozar wants to do is get this thing into field goal range and then use that timeout.
1st and 10 from the 32. Kozar for Langhorne, breaking the tackle. Can he get to the sideline? Across the 45 to the 47. I thought he'd head for the sideline.
You should use a timeout right now because it's going to take too long to get these guys back in the huddle. You can always throw the ball into the ground. I think that's what he's going to do, or he should do. No, he's going after it.
1st and 10 from the 47. Kozar throws it away. Incomplete. Threw it right into the belly on a hop of Reggie Langhorne. He just wanted to stop the clock.
Well, the situation now is that Kozar knows that he has to pick up between 25 and 30 yards in order to give Barr a legitimate shot at the field goal. And if I were Kozar to throw this ball, even though it's stacked in there, is if he has enough time to throw it, is in the middle of the field. because Denver thinking that he's going to throw it to the outside and try to kill the clock. The middle may be open.
2nd and 10 from the 47. 4 wide receivers in the pattern. Pressure coming, flags down in the play.
Movement in the offensive line is going to move him back another 5 yards.
Now 3 seconds were taken off the clock. 19 to 16 seconds left.
Will the clock operator, please reset to 19 seconds. We have a false start. Right guard offense. 2nd down.
I was speculating because I figured if it's a dead ball foul, the clock can't start. That's exactly the situation. So they get those 3 seconds back, but they also lose 5 yards.
They're just talking about the right guard, but it was actually the left guard that was moving on the play, Ted Banker. Dooley's had a tough day, though. The guy at the clock's had a tough day.
2nd and 15. The ball back at the 42-yard line. Kosar and the Browns. Over the middle, it's Slaughter. It's complete to the 40. Do you use your timeout now? I don't think they have a choice. Yes.
The reason I was telling you before, Joel, I'll get back to it right after this commercial.
We'll be right back to Cleveland for the final.
At the outside to get out of bounds. Now just take a look at this area right in here. And this is where you want to throw the ball because everybody's going to be cleared out here and here, and it's going to open that middle up. Here's the play. Slaughter comes across, and look at the middle. It's open.
12 seconds left. They're out of timeouts. 1st and 10 from the 40. Kosar scrambling for the sideline. Is it taken in? Yes! Slaughter's got it at the 30. Tiptoeing on the sideline. Incredible catch by Slaughter.
Slaughter had 2 guys out there, and Langhorne almost reached for it. He thought it was for him, and it ended up in Slaughter's hands, and Slaughter makes the catch. And Langhorne got hurt on the sideline.
Now it's going to be a 48-yard field goal by Matt Barr. As long as last year, a 47-yarder. His career best back in 86, a 52-yarder. Bad snap. He gets into it. Is it good? Yes!